Hello and welcome. Hello, boys. Hello and welcome into No Matter What Did You Just Say? A No Matter What after show hosted by the Section 109 podcast. My name is Andrew Brzee. Most people call me Breezy. I am your host for this evening, and I am with two distinguished and lovely guests. First, Mr. Jay Buchanan. How are you today, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great, and I am honored. I think we are honored to be joined by the hero of this episode himself, Ryan Marcano. How you doing, buddy?
Lovely introduction. I love that. Appreciate you. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm good. And also, before we get started, Jay, what are you wearing?
What? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's pink camo, so I can barely see it. But I am wearing.
I couldn't see you at all.
I am the 2021. I'm wearing the 2021 keeper kit. What are you wearing?
I have a little something here. Hold on, I'll stand up and show you.
That's hot, pun intended. Sorry, that was terrible.
Yeah,
hey, CFL. Marcano's repping CFL.
Marcano with the CFL shirt. Yes, I love it. Boys, the swag is on point today. But we're not here just to talk about the swag, although the jerseys getting released this morning was excellent. We're here to talk about Chattanooga FC and the documentary that we all just watched. So first of all, if you missed the doc somehow and you're watching this, you can catch re-airings of the doc tonight at midnight. So as soon as those clocks turn over till tomorrow, you can catch it on PBS. Also at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. You can catch it on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. somehow, and you're watching this. I hear myself.
I do. I hear you too. What is?
I got an echo.
That was my fault.
That's okay. Audio. I was just like, I have an echo. All right. So if you, like I said, if you haven't caught the episode, you can catch it tonight. You can catch it on Sunday.
10:30 on Sunday.
But I think the most fitting way we could go in before we start diving in and really talking about this episode would be rolling that first Brian Beeman clip that started off the episode. Boys, why don't you roll that clip?
We've said countless times that this club is more than just a club. It's owned by thousands of different people around, not just Chattanooga, but the world. You can just tell what it means to the community and the other people that are involved in this club, not just the guys who are out here on the field. We felt we should have beat Oakland the first time we played them, and this is our chance to do it.
Meaningful.
Dude, first of all, those words make me so happy. Like, Brian gets it. Yeah, and there's something obviously really special that I think this doc does capture a little bit of. But before we talk about some of those things, let's talk about some of these Facebook comments, because the Facebook comment section is lit currently, as the children say. First, we have Andrew Smith starting with Ryan, aka the best ref at HPC. Shout out for that shirt.
Appreciate you.
We have Tim Duncan with greatest kits of all time. And then we have Andrew Smith replying to Tim Duncan saying that pink is sick, which, Smitty, I could not agree more. The pink is absolutely excellent.
Yeah, I currently have a sniffle wearing it. It definitely is sick.
Yes. Yeah. I see what you did there. If Matthew was on this episode and if I had a spray, I would have had my spray bottle and I could have sprayed this at you. Bad Jay. And then I think Smitty with a really, really spoiler alert, sad to relive that game, but what a great episode. Fuller kind of nails those speeches. And yeah, it's bittersweet watching back the Oakland game. Jay, I want to ask you, and then Ryan, I got a question for you. Jay, what did you feel like kind of, and we'll go kind of chronologically here in a second, but rewatching that Oakland game?
I mean, yeah, it was bittersweet. I think, having watched it live and knowing what happened helped me get through that just a little bit, but it still sucked. But watching the goal at the end, which we'll talk about obviously here in a little bit, and with all the different angles, was the highlight for me because, obviously I made clips for for our Twitter and for our Instagram, and you can only get so many from the broadcast. So seeing the guys from the sideline, getting those different angles, that was amazing. But it definitely was bittersweet. But I wasn't too sad going back through it. What about you?
Yeah, I honestly I hadn't watched any highlights. I did watch that game live, of course, on TV, but I hadn't watched anything since then. So it hurt. I forgot how much it hurt. Ryan, and again, we'll go chronologically here in a minute. How did you feel watching that game back, kind of reliving that through the episode?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Just bittersweet was really it. I think it was awesome to get that goal at the end, but I really wish we would have won the game. And that was, I mean, our goal at the beginning of the tournament really was we wanted to win the whole thing, and that was just disappointing for us to go out on that. But it was a good performance though.
Totally. I think you guys really did us proud. But let's rewind back a little bit before that game, towards the beginning of the episode. First of all, we see Chef Sean Russell. Shout out to Sean, whipping up some. I think it was sausages. Was it? Somebody requested some sort of Waffle House order, which made me really happy and hungry. And then we went into the classic, or the now classic, piece of almost every Doc episode, with the Lean on Me from Alec Reddington. So Marcon, I'll go to you first. How did you feel about Reddington's rendition of Lean on Me?
Good choice. The pitch, I don't know about the pitch. No, but it was good. He got everyone in it together, and that's what our team's all about always. So it was good. He did well.
Totally. Jay, if you were to switch places and you were to be in that team bonding session and you had to tell a joke or sing a song, what would you do, Jay?
Oh man, I don't know. I'd be like a total country nerd and sing like an Alan Jackson song. But see, I don't have the mustache that Alec has, so I wouldn't be able to do anything that well. So what about you? You would tell a joke. I'm presuming you would tell a dad joke or something terrible.
So I thought I would tell a joke until I saw Topher tell jokes, and like he was so good, there's no way I would try to follow that. So
yeah,
I think I would try to tell a couple of jokes, and then I might try to sing like a Jack Johnson song, because that's the only pitch my voice can get. And I'm super
dude. Well, I will say I wasn't here for for Galocos. But man, I think that's the hardest I've laughed in a while. Whenever he tries to like sing the rest of the song where he doesn't know the words, I freaking lost it when that happened.
Dude, Ryan. So when you've known David a while, right? You've known Colo a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know he had the ham it up thing in front of the camera? Like, did you know his personality was going to come out like it did?
Yeah, I mean he's kind of always been like that. He's a character for sure, but he's a very good friend of mine and will always be too. Yeah, I really like him. He's always brings great energy to our team last year, and he was a good important piece to our team last year, especially in the bubble. And he gave people great laughs every morning, every single day, bus rides. When you're down, he was always making people laugh. Good guy to have around for sure.
His was my favorite of the the morning with Fools. So we obviously know that there was probably more that happened that didn't make it into the doc itself. Did you do one?
No, I never made the list. I think maybe I would have been on the next game if we would have won or something the next morning. We would have had 2 more mornings to prepare, so I guess 2 more guys would have went, but I didn't get my chance. I'm not sure I would have told a joke or a song. I'm not really sure.
That's fair. Yeah. And by the way, if listeners and watchers here want to listen to David Coloco and Ryan Marcano, you can catch both of them either on episode 30 of the Section 109 podcast or in episode 28, where they both did Uncomfortable Conversations, Race in Soccer and America. So episode 30 kind of dives into y'all's personal lives, and that was a really cool thing. And then episode, like I said, 28 was probably the most important episode the Section 109 podcast has ever done. So you can find those on all places where good and bad podcasts can be found. All right, so Fuller had a banger of a speech, is what this says in the notes. And I think that's really. So actually, let's talk about his speech. But before it, let's go ahead and watch it. Boys, if you'll roll that Island of Misfit Toys clip 2, please.
Yes.
Be who you are, because who you are has gotten you into this team, and who you are and what you are fits perfect with what we are. Talk about the island of misfit toys. I saw an article the other day talking about Nissan and saying that this conglomeration, it wasn't trying to be mean, but did say basically this group of teams is the island of misfit toys. Well, guess what? We're the team that is the island of misfit toys in the league that's the island of misfit toys. Think about it. Look around at yourselves. Look around at yourselves. Brian, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but Brian played in League One. He's played in the NASL, and the truth of it is, he came to us because he wanted to come to us, but the team that he was on didn't resign him. Ian had a contract someplace else. I got a call from him 2 weeks before preseason because we wanted him here. We had discussed it earlier. All of a sudden, they pulled the contract. Didn't think he was athletic enough. Pulled the contract. Pulled the contract from him. You're here because the team down the hall decided to pay you off and let you go. You went to Birmingham in the USL Championship. They showed you the door. You called me from Virginia Beach because you were playing in some pub league. Just wanting a chance and just wanting an opportunity to come. You and Nick Spielman have played more minutes in this tournament than anybody else other than Alec in our team. Island of misfit toys, that's fine. Let's show them what a group of misfits can do.
I've got chills.
Same.
Oh man. And that was only a portion of that clip. I mean, we didn't want to play the first 6 minutes of the episode or whatever. So Ryan, I'll go straight to you. Obviously, not only were you there for that and watching it, now you're actually called out as one of the names in there. I don't know if he says Ryan, but he points at you and he says you were at Birmingham. When coach singles you out, and this is just something that I'm just really curious about personally, when you get singled out like that and you connect to a moment like that, does it motivate you? Like, how are you feeling? What is it? And kind of how do you feel now looking back on it?
Yeah, I saw myself in the background of that video, and I was locked into him. I'm blurred out in the back, but I remember just because I was so locked into what he was saying before the game. And when he said that, I just it brought me back to when I was in preseason there. And I was like, wow, this coming back here and just being a part of this team has been such a blessing. And also, I think, when he does signal you out, it is motivating, but I mean, some people may take it differently, but to me personally, I think it is motivating, and it's all about how you take it. If I can't put my head down just because I failed one opportunity, didn't work out for me. If I would have done that, I would have stopped a long time ago. I wouldn't have made it this far if that was the case.
No, for sure. Jay, when you saw that clip and saw that speech, what does it bring for you?
I mean, dude, every time I hear him talk, I want to run through a brick wall. I said it on the last time I was on here. He just gets me going. He knows how to pull strings and pull the right strings, and that's just the sign of a good manager. You can say whatever and you can belittle guys in a way, but he doesn't belittle people. He brings up different points to hit you, where it hurts slightly, but just to get you motivated. And
right.
That's key. And I mean, it's Fools, that's one thing about this doc, man. Fools is just one of the coolest guys ever. And to hear him get in these speeches because he has so much knowledge and so much experience, it's just cool to hear him kind of bleed that out and pour that on you guys, hoping to give you guys the most energy you can have before a game. And I'm sure that worked, I'm sure. What was it like at the end of that? Because, we fade into the game, but were y'all just okay, I'm gonna go back to eating my banana, or what did y'all do? No,
I think there was a full applause after the speech. Yeah. I gotta say that the man can deliver a speech, and it's not, like you said, it's not always about what you say. It's a proper delivery, and it's, as you said, it's well it's well crafted, it's well thought, it's perfect, it's good, and I've really enjoyed having him as a coach as well. Yeah.
Breezy, there was a moment, there was a bit of a montage during that speech, and there were a few players that you saw, and you have a very absurd comment you want to make about one. Go ahead and make that comment.
Yeah. So first of all, how good looking is Zeca? Like every time him jumping rope. There's a comment from an anonymous producer that did not get paid to say this, but that let's say he could probably sell pictures of modeling pictures of himself. Let's just put it that way. He's extremely good looking. Extremely good. He could be an Instagram influencer just for how pretty he is. No doubt about it. I was watching that montage and him. Yeah, it's impressive. It's impressive. So yeah, Island of Misfit Toys. That seems to be a bit of a theme. And speaking of that, there's an Island of Misfit Toys comment from Andrew Smith here. But better than that even, and we'll come back to some serious stuff in a second, Alec Reddington, who's getting torn up on this show, is actually listening or watching, and he says that hurts, Ryan, about your calling him out for his pitch. But meaner than you would be Andrew Smith, who said Red, great on the pitch, but not great at being on pitch. Smitty.
You got to have a sing-off between Smitty and Reddington.
Yeah, I agree. We need to have a
sing-off. Pod would start that, or would sponsor it.
Yeah, definitely. We are here for that. Andrew Smith says, Zeca OnlyFans, start it now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Modeling. He could be a model, man. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Bill Hammontree also suggests that Ryan should sing us a song right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then Andrew Smith's currently apologizing via chat to Reddington, saying he loves him still. All right. So we come in and we start going to the game. Oakland goes up 2-0 and in pretty quick succession. They scored the first 10 minutes, and then I think they scored before minute 20. Going into halftime, and we don't have a clip or anything for halftime, but how are you feeling? Do you remember what the morale was like, what the team was like?
Yeah, I think people were really, the emotions were flying for sure, and I know it's tough being in a 2-0 down, just thinking that the game could slip away with one more goal. Like that's kind of like not nailing the coffin, but like 3-0 is just like you're getting dominated. But anyway, having the mindset, or like digging deep down in your head to realize like one goal gets us back in this game. And one of my coaches actually just a long time ago, he just said that 2-0 is actually the most dangerous lead in soccer, because that's when the other team gets comfortable and they think they got it, and then the one team scores and they're right back in it.
Yeah,
the momentum swing can be crazy sometimes.
Yep.
Speaking of that momentum swing, Jay, when Ian's crazy header went in, where were you? Do you remember where you were watching?
I was watching on my phone on the way back from the feed. I had just picked up food for Rachel and I. And so I got kind of hyped in my truck driving. In fact, I almost popped a blood vessel because I screamed so loud. But I remember, and I remember I've heard the same thing. 2-0 lead is the most dangerous lead in soccer. So I was hoping that was correct at the time that went in.
Well, and it almost was. So we go forward a little bit, and just a couple minutes after that goal, just terrible luck, right? Sean tries to play a ball, and it gets picked off, and then that guy plays it, and he actually steps to it and gets a little bit of a deflection, right? But it just misses. And then Reddington hesitates, I think correctly, right? Because the ball takes a bounce, and so he hesitates, and then he comes out. And when he comes out, he kicks it, and I think it's Alfondi right off the hip. And, I mean, just what a backbreaker. What a backbreaker. But then let's skip past that unhappy moment. And actually, let's just go ahead and roll that beautiful bite clip. Here we go. Roll it, boys.
14 minutes left of the 90. Can't imagine it'd be less than 5 minutes after all these injuries, or at least injury stoppages. Herrera looks fine. Here's a bicycle attempt. What a finish by Ryan Marcano! And Chattanooga are not dead yet. That is the first career professional goal for Ryan Marcano. And what a way to open your account.
Nate, that's his first goal. I don't know if he's going to score a better one, because that is a perfect bike right there.
Holy holy
Yeah.
So it goes bing, 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 bikes, and you just go over backwards. First of all, how do you go so straight? Your leg was go completely straight. Let's start there. How in the world do you manage to do that?
To be honest with you, I do practice that sometimes in practice.
I believe you.
It's not an everyday thing, but there are times where people are crossing it and I will attempt it. And I have scored a couple times in practice with it too.
So
But-
it's something that you would it's like one of those I'm guessing, right, when you're a kid and you're playing basketball and you're like 3, 2, 1. It's like that, like in the one instance that it might happen, you're
Yeah.
hoping for that game win. Man.
it
And
was-
number 2, when did you decide that you were gonna jump and bike?
Yeah, because your eyes got locked on. We talked about that on our goal pod. That's a decision that you made. That wasn't like a jump flailing kind of instance where, when some people scissor the ball and they're trying to volley it, but they just kind of jump and they like get lucky and get the perfect contact. You locked on. You can see it. Your eyes locked, like your head stays and your body begins to move, and then it's an absolute like rifle. Did you know as soon as it went up, or when was that decision made?
Yeah, I mean, when it went up in the air, I was just, like you said, yeah, my eyes were locked on it, and I knew I was going to bike it, but I just was hoping that I wasn't going to kick someone in the head, and
Sure.
I was definitely going, like, no matter what, even if I did kick someone in the head, I wasn't looking. I just went, like, I knew I was going to bike it, and I was just hoping not to kick someone in the head. But
Hey, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back and continue with this, but I have to bring up a comment. Danny Whitehall is in the chat, a former CFC player, who said, "Not quite Nashville away 2017." And Danny, you have one of the best CFC goals of all time. I don't know, Danny, if you've seen our goal pod special, but go to YouTube and check us out, the Section 109 podcast. We talk about your goal on there. So
Talk about both these goals, actually. Yeah.
yes, both of these goals are on that one.
That's a hell of a goal as well.
Yeah, when you land on your back after making that shot, do you even think about anything? Is so much adrenaline running through your body, and you're just like, what do you do? Like, I'd be like, I don't even know what to do with my hands right now. I just did that. Like,
yeah, I didn't. It was overwhelming for sure when I first scored. I definitely wasn't thinking about like, pain or like if I fell on my back or anything. I was in like I looked back, I saw that it went in, and I was the rest is history, man. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Speaking of which, Jay, do you have a little piece of history in the studio there by chance from this game?
oh, I sure do. So we did. What were the boxes called? Memorabilia boxes.
Memorabilia boxes, which if
Oh,
folks want to get them, there still are some available on cfctix.com.
And we did a podcast where we opened some. Breezy, get that episode for me. And one of the boxes came with the jersey that Marcano scored the bike in.
Woo!
So this is a podcast studio exclusive jersey. We all made the decision that this one stays here. So I'm working on getting a frame for this. And then I'm gonna get a picture of you taking the bike and have it framed in the bottom corner. We're gonna need a signature somewhere on there. That is because
Definitely.
I got you for sure. I got you.
All right. That's crucial. That's a big part of it.
And that episode that Jay was talking about is episode 33, our CFC New Year's resolution pod. And then you can check our Instagram for actually pictures of what came in those memorabilia boxes. But if anybody's on the fence, I know Bill Hammontree, who's in the chat right now, just got a memorabilia box. And I know we were talking today about the cool stuff he got in his. There's so much cool stuff in those boxes. So much cool stuff in those boxes. Bill Hammontree also has a good point. Ryan, have you pursued a sponsorship, a Bike Chattanooga spokesperson sponsorship? Because I feel like there's some synergies here.
Bill, I love where your head's at. I love it.
Dude, you know what's funny is we mentioned CFL earlier, and when after the season Marcano's out there reffing, and all the guys are like talking to Ryan, and I'm like, yeah, he plays for CFC, and they're like, oh, is he pretty good? I'm like, y'all know about the bike goal? And they're like, nah. I'm like pulling up my Instagram, and they're like, holy shit, really? Yeah. So they went. I'm pretty sure they came and talked to you after I showed them. I was like, there's no way I'm not about to show them. Which, by the way, that's our most viewed Instagram video. We have like 1,500 views. So it's like 1,300 or 1,400 you rewatching yourself, because it would have been me if I was you.
No, yeah, that was that's actually crazy. You guys have had so much content put out too.
Yep, it's our. I'm pretty sure it's our most viewed.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's an epic video.
Yeah.
So coming forward a little bit, obviously the game does not end how we hoped it would, how all you guys are hoping it would. So coming forward from that bike, we have another, I don't remember what minute that bike is, in the 84th maybe. Anyway, we get to stoppage time, and there's 11 minutes of stoppage time. And they didn't have enough space in the dock to show this. And I know that because we were talking to Owen actually just before we went live, and he was saying they just didn't have the time to show. But if anyone remembers, we absolutely peppered that goal. And it really looked like we were going to get another one, and it just wasn't meant to be. Ryan, when that was going on, had you been subbed off, or are you still playing?
No, I was still playing. I finished the game. He moved me over to left wing back at that point, and I think he subbed Topher on. Topher was playing in the winger at that point, and I mean, yeah, as you said, we were all over them for that last however long that extra time period was, and I really thought there was going to be an equalizer in that one.
And if we got one, we would have got two. If we had gotten one, we'd have won in extra time. I really believe it. We just really had all the momentum, but it wasn't to be. And then Jack Mack tried to pick a fight with a superhero, which is a bad idea. So shout out Jack Mack.
Jack Mack can kick rocks.
He can definitely kick rocks. What a moron. Like, I mean, there's like a hand, like, you know, no offense, Ryan, but like picking a fight with you makes a little more sense. Like, you're like his size. Like, picking a fight with Sean Russell is like double his size, or Nick Spielman for that matter. Like, come on, man. Use your brain, Jack Mack.
His arms are the size of people's quads.
Exactly.
That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Yo, I showed somebody at work the picture of the New Jerseys that came with the media email from Charlie, and this one dude goes, dude, that guy's veins in his arms, because he's just like poking out on one side. Yeah. I was like, yeah, he's a swolge. For sure. He fills
it out a lot better than me. Shout
out Sean. Sean just commented on super good.
There we go. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, Sean and I caught up at Publix today. Apparently he is a chef, as we mentioned earlier in the beginning.
So
and Ryan Ty Eason, I was telling him, y'all go later. I told you about it earlier, but you need to check it out. What were you saying, Breezy? Sorry, before I cut you off.
Ryan, were you the one who bought the hot plate, and how did that come about for breakfast?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I ended up buying that because I wanted to I usually cook this breakfast thing at home for just some of my friends. Like back in college, I used to just make this big breakfast skillet for people whenever we would all hang out. And yeah, I just wanted to make it for the team, or make it for some of my teammates, so we could all have a really good breakfast and win the game. You know, that's all.
You did your best. You scored a goal and you worked on making breakfast. So can't ask a lot more than that.
Really, the best part of that clip, though, I think someone did say something about it in the comments, but yeah, the best part of that clip, I know the goal was sick, but the celebration from Clay was awesome. Like, and
Yes.
the production of the video is so good. It's amazing. It's really
Dude, Clay literally just like puts his fist down. Does what I call, if anybody watching this knows who Pat Mahomes is. Pat Mahomes does this thing and he just screams. It's exactly what Clay did with his fist out, dude. Yeah, that was all of us when he did that for sure.
Also, Reddington's face.
I know.
Both of those reactions were exactly what I did watching on TV. I was could not believe that was real life.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, right, we lost. So not to bring it down too much, but we didn't really get to see too much of the after stuff, and I'm sure we'll see some stuff in the next episode. But how was the feeling and the mood of the team leaving?
Yeah. It was fairly quiet after the game. Just, typical loss. I mean, sometimes people are pissed. I think people were disappointed about the loss, but yeah, they just happy about the season, the effort that we gave that year, just about everyone coming together as a team, as a community, everything. It really truly was a special year. And I've been a part of a lot of good teams, championship teams, and last year was a very, very special year. One of my favorite years of playing soccer of my life.
Dude, I think I can echo that a little bit, because if you go back to the first episode when we're talking about CFC, you kind of get the history, and then it comes into this really, really good looking dude who talks about the pandemic happening. That was me. But I talked about how we went from scoring our first ever goal to having our season taken away, literally taken away from us. And then you extend that to making it to a semifinal in the playoffs in the bubble that we went to. If you would, the day that the season ended and the world just went crazy, if you'd have told me that, I'd have taken it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I would have asked you what a bubble tournament was, though, because I wouldn't have known at the time.
Then nobody would have known. That was the largest pivot in the sports world for every single sport, well, most sports.
Ryan, do you think that if given the choice early on in the season, before the season or right when the pandemic hit, that we would come in essentially third or fourth in the league? Is that something you think you would have felt? I mean, obviously it was bittersweet to lose that way, right? So I don't think anybody liked how it ended. But do you think it would have been different if they'd offered you at the beginning, or was it kind of championship or bust, or somewhere in between?
If they say that again, if they offered what?
So if you know how they say, if someone offers you the beginning, for example, the Oakland game in Oakland in March, if you had told me before the game we're going to tie 1-1 and it's going to be a point away from home, I'd been cool. But then when Jack Mack scored with 1 minute left or whatever, the 1-1 felt like a loss. I'm sure this Oakland game probably felt much worse, but I'm curious if before the tournament, if you had known all the adversity and how everything went, if you would have felt that was a good result, third place was good, or I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, yes and no, just because we truly did set out at the beginning saying we're going to win a championship. We're going to make this happen. And at the beginning of the year, it just felt like a very special team coming together for this experience. It was, like I said before, I've almost never been a part of something like this. It was an amazing year. And despite all the negativity, it was one of the best years of my life, one of the best soccer playing years of my life, and I'll never forget it. But yeah, back to what you were saying also about after the game, vibes after the game. I do remember on the bus, we got onto the bus and we were about to leave and everything, and Tim Kelly comes on and just was congratulating us about the season and just saying I appreciate how you guys represented Chattanooga and the city and the community and the club and everything as well. And that was really important as well for our team. I think it was just showing that that like other people care about us, not just on the field. Like they liked how we represented the club and did well.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
that.
what do you guys think though? Was it like, do you feel like we accomplished something last year that we did or that you didn't think that we would?
Jay, you go first.
I love it when the person being interviewed turns around and is the interviewer. By the way, it's one of my favorite things. I mean, I look at it as a positive. I mean, we literally had a season stripped away from us, and then I couldn't do anything but go to the grocery store pretty much. So for us to go and I get to like, remember when there was no sports on TV? I remember all these like funny videos on like ESPN of like people watching like bowling and chess and like freaking out about it because that would be like the only thing on. But when sports finally came back on, and I learned that I actually got to like watch a CFC season, that was enough for me at that point. So for us to do what we did in the bubble and then, you know, kind of finish out the season with some games and some fans, I look at it as a total positive for me. I would have loved to have won. Don't get me wrong. I'm a super competitive person. I talk a lot of trash to people when I play, and I love winning, but I'll take that as a total positive. What about you?
I can attest to that. I've seen.
I know.
I've seen you out there on Tuesday night.
Thanks for not giving me a yellow.
yelling at the referee, old producer Jay. Man, it's hard to answer that question. It's one of the reasons I asked it instead of answering it. I think at the beginning of the season, I think I set the goals for the team in my mind would have been to make the playoffs, and there was no like playoffs, but fourth place would essentially be playoffs in my mind, right? So I was hoping to make it and make a good run. So in a lot of ways, I think coming in third or fourth place, I mean, there was no third place game, right? But coming in what was essentially third or fourth in the tournament was a solid result. And it felt way worse than that, though. So, like, if you look at all the adversity the team went through, losing Richard early, losing all the players to injury subsequently. I mean, the Cosmos game had like 5 injuries or 4 injuries in just that game. Yep. So when you look at it that way, yeah, I think it's good. But also, it felt like those last 11 minutes we should have beat Oakland. And it didn't feel like Oakland was actually that good. Now, I think that they were pretty good in the end, but I felt like based on how we played in the regular season, in the really short regular season, quote unquote, after we lost to the Michigan Stars, once we beat Detroit and we got on that roll, and then once we got up to Detroit for the bubble and the roll we were on, it wasn't that I thought we would win it for sure. I'm a superstitious sports fan, so I think we're going to lose every game. But I also felt like we really could win it all. And so on one hand, like emotionally, it was a disappointment, but I think the more time goes by, the better off I feel about it. So yeah, I think that the cool thing that's about to happen, and they're talking a little bit about this in the chat, like we're about to roll into another bubble here next week.
So ready.
And there's 2 things that are going to happen this season that's really fun. One, we're going to play hopefully a much longer season throughout the whole year. And then number 2, there's a bubble to start the season with a berth in the playoffs on the line, and we're hosting it at home. So that we get a chance to really like kind of redo what we just watched in a lot of ways. And maybe this is the time.
And we get to be there.
Right.
Yeah,
the fan
we do.
Is going to be a big time.
Every game, bro.
I
cannot wait.
Absolutely. So before we jump off here, Ryan, is there anything you would have hoped we would ask you about this game, about the bike goal? Is there anything else you'd like to share? I know we've kind of bounced around a lot.
No, I just.
Is that the favorite goal of your career, by the way? Like your collegiate, we'll say from college on, of your entire life.
Yeah, because it was your first, and it has to be your best professional goal. So
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Favorite goal for sure. Yeah.
I was going to ask, because if you said no, I was about to say I need details of whatever other goal you scored. So
I don't know. A little birdie told me he scored one today in practice, so he's coming on strong.
Yeah, that it was a good one. Rounded the keeper in the goal.
Love those.
Boy.
Not that I ever do them, but I love them.
Yeah, shout out Tate for that great through ball today.
take and pass the ball, and we can see Brian Marcano, Tate Robertson, Alec Reddington, and a lot of other guys potentially. A lot of guys on this team starting this Tuesday the 13th. So y'all vax up and get those tickets. It's going to be super fun. Jay, if the people want to find you on the internet, yell at you maybe a little bit, or maybe just say hello, how can they do that?
On Instagram, I am letter J, and on also Section 109 podcast, and then on Twitter, I am the Section 109 podcast. What about you, Breezy?
You can find me on the internet. Ryan Marcano, where can the people find you on social media and on the internet?
On the internet, social media, Instagram. I don't have Twitter, but on Instagram, I'm just at Ryan Marcano, and that's it. No,
you don't have Twitter, so your mental health is probably great.
Yeah, it's
a dark hole. Don't worry about it. Don't ever download it. Although, even though 75 to 90% of the fans use it constantly. So just don't get on it.
Stay on Instagram. It's better.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. Ryan, thank you again for taking this so much time out of your evening. Really appreciate it. Thank you for that bike goal. Producer Jay, thanks for joining the host side this time. Yeah. And everybody watching at home, don't forget to catch that doc next week on Thursday, same time, same place. Cop yourself a jersey.
Wonder. See ya.
See you guys.